Hello everybody, my name is Super STI. I make commentaries about science and philosophy. And today I'm appropriately going to be talking a bit about the philosophy of science. And this isn't a very simple topic. I mean, people have been arguing about it for a while now. So what I'm going to give you is just my opinion, really, for what that's worth. And I'm going to lay this out by first talking about the classical view of philosophy of science, what's wrong with it, and how this new view fixes these problems. So, the classical philosophy of science pretty much posits that scientists aim to positively justify the truth of scientific hypotheses through inductive logic. That is, aim to prove a general hypothesis through repeated particular observations. For example, using this logic, the popular example is that we can make the hypothesis that the sun rises every day because we have observed it rise every day in the past. But this classical view was famously refuted by Hume, who argued that, firstly, no number of repeated observations of two events coinciding absolutely guarantees that they will coincide in the future, and secondly, that we believe in the validity of induction because of our repetitive use of it, which is inductive in itself, making the argument circular and leaving induction with no basis. And so, science has no basis, it's all BS, and that's the end of that. And I still hear people putting forward this view. Oh, science has no basis because of the problem of induction. And, well, they should probably get out of the 18th century, because philosophy of science has made some advancements since then. And so, the first thing that we have to establish in tackling this problem is that the problem of induction is not a problem for science at all. That's because, it's only a problem for the inductive justification of belief. Science neither justifies beliefs nor does so inductively. And this is because scientific knowledge is objective and relies on critical rationalism, in which we try to falsify knowledge rather than the traditional epistemic approach of justifying it. And this is a huge shift from this traditional epistemology, in which we try to give reasons to justify our personal knowledge or beliefs. And the problem with trying to justify knowledge is that it makes the knowledge necessarily subjective, as to speak of justification is to speak of the knowledge belonging to a subject, and that subject needing to justify his belief in it. And taking this approach, the truth or falsity of a statement only depends on whether a person can give sufficient reasons for their belief or disbelief in it. And so it's no wonder that this leads to relativism, the belief that knowledge and truth is completely subjective and all relative to the individual. So, on this classical justificationist approach, we can't even deal with objective knowledge, because objective knowledge, by definition, is true or false independent of a subject's belief about it. And so, to approach objective knowledge, we need a different way of approaching epistemology. And this approach is critical rationalism, which was first advanced by the philosopher of science Sir Karl Popper. And here we attempt to criticize or falsify our knowledge rather than justify it. Now, very simply, using this method, we would try to determine the truth of a claim by attempting to prove it false, and if it stands up to it, these attempts tentatively accept it as true. And it is of greatest importance, of course, that this claim be able to be proved false. In other words, be falsifiable. And so unfalsifiable claims are rejected, and in addition, claims which are more easily falsified are generally preferred to those which are harder to be falsified. So, in summary, the more falsifiable a claim is, and the more falsification attempts it stands up to, the more true it is regarded. Now, the benefit of this is that an assertion can be falsified on objective criteria, and so we can discuss objective knowledge with it. So this is a good step forward towards escaping this traditional philosophy of science. But wait a second, who even said objective knowledge exists? And in talking about this, I should really say objective concepts rather than knowledge, because knowledge is a sort of subjective thing, because you're really talking about a specific person knowing something, or having knowledge. So this can be pretty much done by example. For example, take the law of gravity. I mean, this is a mathematical formula which is expressing precise relations between certain quantities. This really isn't up to interpretation. This is an independent concept which, although created by the human mind, sort of transcends it in its informational content. And Karl Popper describes this as a sort of world of knowledge, a whole new third world of knowledge, which includes theoretical systems, problems and problem situations, critical arguments, the state of a discussion and the state of a critical argument, and the contents of journals, books, and libraries. And not all of that is completely important to understand, but you could obviously see how many of those apply to scientific concepts. Now, there's a simple thought experiment made famous by Popper, which illustrates the existence of this world of objective knowledge. And it goes as such. Imagine two scenarios, in the first of which all but a few people in the world are destroyed, along with all machinery and technology and those people's subjective knowledge to use it. However, all of the knowledge contained in books survives. The second scenario is the same in all respects as the first, except for that the knowledge contained in books is destroyed as well. Now, it is clear that the society in which the books are not destroyed will rebuild significantly faster than that in which they are destroyed, illustrating the reality and clear separation of the third world of knowledge contained in books from that of our world of subjective knowledge through its impact on us. Shut up, cat. Now, okay, so by going through all these pedantic definitions of critical rationalism and arguments for the existence of objective knowledge, we can see how this justificationist approach to science was just completely off. First, in that science is a form of objective knowledge, and as such as justification is irrelevant, because justification is a concept which applies only to subjective belief. And so instead we must attempt to objectively falsify scientific knowledge using the principles of critical rationalism. And it should be remembered here that this objective scientific knowledge is still neither absolutely true nor false. The key difference, and the most important difference, is in the fact that its falsity or veracity is independent of what a subject believes it to be, and that we are able to build on our knowledge with theories that stand up better and better to falsification, steadily climbing asymptotically closer to the truth. And now, how this world of objective knowledge interacts with our world of personal beliefs is a subject for another video. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment, rate, subscribe, whatever. I really don't feel like I need to tell you to do that. If you want to, you are. And it would help if you could suggest things for me to talk about in the comments. And I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye bye.